Okay, the question of the day for this podcast is, what are you attaching your value to? I'm asking this question because once I answered this question, it truly gave me the freedom to begin walking in my purpose. And I hope that answering this question and sharing my story will give you that same permission. Let's talk about it, y'all. This is Looking for My Fit.
Looking for my fit, looking for my fit, yeah. Looking for my fit, looking for my fit, yeah. Looking for my fit, looking for my fit, yeah. Looking for my fit, looking for my fit, yeah.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Looking for My Fit podcast. My name is Jamika, and this is a podcast where I talk in real time about my journey to the path of purpose and really and truly walking in it. I'm so excited to have you here. If you are a subscriber, I am so glad that you subscribe. Thank you. I appreciate the support. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I am so very happy to have you here. I hope that you will go ahead and hit subscribe because I'm going to have some more things coming up. The next episode is probably going to be the biggest episode that I've done, or the most pivotal, most important to me, because I'm really going to just go for it. That's what I'm doing. And so this is like the prequel to the next episode. And y'all, this is not a, hey, next week I'm going to record it. As soon as I finish with this episode, I'm heading straight in to record the next one. But I did feel like I needed to have this as a separate podcast so that I wouldn't get lost in the next one. Y'all, I'm very proud of myself. Let me say this. I never write things out for the podcast. So even when I've had guests on here, I will have like a couple things that I want to make sure I hit on. So I might like jot down some things on an envelope or something like that right before we get on. But I believe in just kind of letting the conversation happen naturally. But on this one, I did take down a couple of notes because I want to make sure that I hit everything. Again, because I think it's important leading into the next episode. So the question that I asked you at the beginning was, what are you attaching your value to? And that makes such a huge difference. So now I have to go back in the past just a little bit to talk about a conversation that I had with a friend and how now I was finally in a space to really answer this question and be truthful about it. So, if you've been following the podcast, if not, look, just go back and listen to the episodes. I think the podcast is really good. Call me biased, but I think it's a really good podcast. And you can just catch up on some of the things. I've had a lot of things happen in my life over the last couple of months. It's been a whirlwind of just a lot of things, but really good. Anyway, Charmaine, one of my homegirls, she's been on here. I think Charmaine's been on 2 episodes. Yeah, her and my girl Devin. But I had a conversation with Charmaine when I was in a space of like feeling like I knew it was time for me to leave the gym where I was training. And when I would talk to Charmaine about it, like, I'm sure you've done it before, unless you're just somebody who's like super assertive and you jump on things immediately and you're not an overthinker, uh, then you won't understand this. But I am the CEO and president of Overthinkers of the World, and I will really overthink some things. So anyway, Charmaine, and Devin, and people who are like really close to me, they knew that I was in this space of like, it's time for a change. I'm just not quite sure what it is. And when I was talking about it, Charmaine was like, I think you're afraid to leave this gym. And I'm like, girl, ain't nobody afraid to leave no gym. But then she said, no, I'm not saying that. She said, I really believe that for so long, like this has been a part of who you are. You have been a part of this gym and you're a trainer, and it has become a part of your identity in a sense. And I think that for you, you think leaving this, you won't really know who you are. Like I feel like it's very hard for you to imagine yourself leaving because like who are you outside of that? Now she wasn't saying like, girl, don't you leave because who are you? But she was just like, keeping it real with me. I think part of you staying, even though that is not like that space for you anymore, is you're afraid of leaving part of your identity behind. And I was like, nah, girl, you don't know what you're talking about. But the reality was, it was yes, yes, that is. You are correct. Like, who am I outside of that? Because y'all, I've met so many people and I've grown up and evolved so much from those years, where I was serving in that position. And what I had to own up to is that I had tied my value up in, or tied my value to, being a trainer. And I'm like, people know me for being a trainer. People know me for my training style, right? Because I enjoyed training in the time when I was doing it. I believe in bringing, let me say this. I train people the way that I like to be trained: high energy, knowing how and when to push people, helping people to see something in themselves that they feel like they haven't tapped into yet, but giving them a glimpse of what you see. That was it. Now, see, as I say all of that's universal. I can put that in a couple different places, right? But at the time, I thought all of that was dealing with training. So I'm like, well, what will my value be if I'm not training? That is what people, the majority of the people that I interact with them because I'm a trainer. So what does life look like if I am not training? Right? Well, get this. So, this is a good little story time. So, I left. I've talked about that too, in working for an online fitness program. And I really go back and listen to that too. Listen to the one where it says I left my job. I won't get into all the details of that, but there's an episode, I left my job. I think that's the title. But anyway, as I left, I was still stepping into a role as a trainer. Now, not training as much. So I went from, there was a time, y'all, when I was training 34 classes, camps, whatever you want to call it, a week. It was a lot. And then I slowly started tapering that number back when I got to the point where I was like, whoa, like my body really can't take this. So when I left um from my primary training job, I was down to 6 classes a week. That's what I was training. And then when I moved over to the new company Life, I was doing 3 workouts a week, total 3. Um 30 minutes, and so it was shorter because previously I was doing 45 minutes, and then I stepped over into 30 minutes, right? So you would think that in doing that I would be like excited because it was cut back. But y'all, even as I got into that, and don't get me wrong, if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it wholeheartedly. I'm gonna put 1,000% into it. You will never feel when I'm doing something like, she don't want to be here. She do not want to be here. You will never know. You will never know, because if I say yes to something, I'm gonna show up and give my 1,000%. But y'all, as I showed up and was doing this, I was like, I don't want to train anymore. I don't want to train anymore. And when I realized that and finally said it out loud, it was I can't even begin to tell you the lightness that I felt in saying that out loud. Whew, I mean, just felt like I had tons of bricks on me, and it felt like they all crumbled instantly. I'm like, I do not want to train anymore. And it was in that moment that I realized that training was never, it wasn't part of the gift. Training was the assignment, y'all. I, again, had to accept what my gift was. And I've talked about, y'all, just go listen to all the podcasts. I said I took notes, but I didn't take good enough notes. But again, I like to speak off the cuff. So I don't know the episode of it, but I talked about, acknowledging what your gift is. So my gift was not in training, but that was what I was thinking. So my hesitation in stepping away, period, was that, well, where's my value if I'm not training? Training was the assignment for me, y'all. Training was the assignment for me. The gift is in my ability to connect to people. My gift is my ability to see things in people that they may not see in themselves. And my gift is in motivating people to want to do more and try things out and figure out who they are and supporting them and giving them the confidence to know that they can. And another part has been, as God has called me to be more transparent and share more things and to be more vulnerable and to let down my walls and be open about sharing life stories and situations. Transparency is also a part of the gift because a lot of people are suffering and going through things because they think it's just them. People are going through things in isolation because they genuinely believe that the situation that they're in is isolated to them. So the more I can get my story out, the more that people can hear my own personal experiences, there'll be more people who say, "Oh, so this is not unique to me." And this is like something that is very common that people experience. That's part of it. So the training was an opportunity for me to sharpen that gift. That's what training was for me. Teaching was an opportunity for me to sharpen the gift. Training was an opportunity for me to sharpen the gift. That's why at certain points, like when I was teaching, I was like, "Ugh, like this isn't it." I felt that, right? But I needed that for the next position that I stepped into as a facilitator because you're leading a classroom. And then I was able to step into not only leading classrooms, but leading other teachers, sharpening the gift. And I left from there. And when I went to go train, I wasn't nervous to speak in front of people. I feel very comfortable speaking in front of people. I love speaking in front of people. And there are some people who I know they would like, girl, I'd rather take a bath in mustard than to go speak up in front of people. But I enjoy it. I get an adrenaline rush from it. I enjoy speaking in front of people. That doesn't bother me at all. But all of that came from like the gift being sharpened along the way. So when I finally realized, girl, your value has nothing to do with training. That was an assignment. And it's not like, oh, that was just like training ground. I definitely know that I've been able to have impact on the people that I've come in contact with through those seasons or through those other assignments. Y'all, I would like to challenge you to ask yourself, what are you attaching your value to? Some of you are stuck in jobs that you absolutely hate right now. You on Fridays, you are so happy. Let's back it up. Thursday, you're starting to get excited because you know it's one more day and you can make it. So Thursday starting to feel good. Friday feels amazing. Saturday we turn up, but Sunday morning, the pit in your stomach, the anxiety that you feel, the thought of pushing through another week in that place messes up your whole day. So the question is, why are you still there? Why are you allowing yourself to stay in this? And I will guarantee you it's because you've attached your value to that job. You're like, well, who am I if I leave this space? This is what I've been doing for years. This is all I know how to do. But the question is, what is it about you that has allowed you to be there for years? Why haven't you been fired or put out somewhere? Because if you weren't doing something right, you would have been let go. People don't have a problem letting people go. You would have been let go, but there is some value to you, right? But it's not in that job. So, what is the thing that makes you stand out? But also, what is that thing that comes to you naturally that you do without hesitation, that you don't have to pump yourself up for? What is that thing? What is the thing? What is something that people tend to gravitate towards you for? Because I think we all have like a pull to us um, for some reason. So I was talking to my friend Chrissy the other day, and I was telling her, whether she knows it or not, she has the gift of making people feel safe. When I go and talk to Christy, it just feels like, uh, you know, it's just a safe space. I know that there's not going to be judgment. I know that if there's some, like if I go to her and I'm telling her about something that's going on with me, and I know that if I'm in the middle of this rant and I'm and she's like, Jamaica, you're in the wrong, she's gonna find a loving way to say to me, okay, well, maybe we can think about this. Oh, maybe we can think about that. So, like Christy, she has this gift, and it's not something that she tries to do. It's just a part of who she is. And Christy, if you're listening, because I know you are, go. She well, you know what? I was getting ready to try to give her this moment. She's already doing stuff, but I'll have her on the podcast later to talk about that. But that's just naturally who she is. So you need to figure out like what is that thing? You have a gift and now you need to tap into it. That job, especially if it's making you miserable, that's not it for you. Now this is not me trying to tell everybody to go and quit their job. I know we are in the middle of the great resignation, which I think is very inspiring for people just saying like enough is enough and trusting themselves to go do other things. But there are people I know who work in places where they absolutely love it. And they know that they bring they make that job because of who they are and they love it. Now I'm saying like if you are in a place working with people who respect and love you and it feels good to you, yeah, I'm not telling you I'm not telling everybody to go. But I know for a fact that there are people who listen to this who are in spaces that are absolutely miserable and they're staying because they have attached their value to that job. You have value. And I am giving you permission to tap into that value and to tap into your gift and to go forth and be great. Find joy, y'all. Find joy. So let me share this other part with you all. I'm just full of things. So even though I told you to go listen to the episode about I quit my job, that still stands. However, I am now back at that gym working 1 day a week for 3 hours a week. And he's like, Jamaica, wait a minute. Now you're telling everybody to leave the job and don't be at a place to make you miserable. But you done went back to the job that you made an episode about where you quit. But here's the thing that I realized, y'all. In me saying that my value wasn't in training, I meant that. Like, my value is not in training. I do feel like I was a great trainer. I'm still certified. So let me step back and like I burned my certification. I have not done that. And people know like if they absolutely were in a bind or needed something that I would step on the mic and make it happen. What I'm saying is like I no longer have a desire to do that on a regular basis at all. That was definitely an assignment for me. But I realized that in me feeling like I needed that shift, part of that was just that I was operating out of assignment, right? Like that was just not where I was supposed to be using my gift anymore. So in leaving, the thing that I didn't take into account was like, well, it's going to feel really weird to leave all these people that you have genuinely built a bond with and that you see as your community. These people are a huge part of your life. I mean, some of the people I have listed as emergency contacts for my children are because I work there. I only know them through there. And so I was like, man, I am really missing community. And I just really underestimated the impact that leaving was going to have. I knew it would feel different and that I was, in a bittersweet place when I left. I didn't imagine just how sad it was. And then I realized like, well, girl, just go back. You can go back. So I happened to be talking to my homegirl Devin, who is my friend that was on with Charmaine, and she was telling me that they were looking to hire more ambassadors. And ambassadors are people who work the desk. They roll out, they give you the VIP treatment as soon as you hit the door. You're like the first person that people interact with when they come. And when I heard that, I was like, I work a shift. And she's like, shut up. I was like, no, for real. Like, tell me the dates. Tell me what days you're looking for. Like, what are you looking for? So anyway, we ended up being able to talk about it. And so I picked up 1 day a week for 3 camp times that I'm working at the desk. And y'all, this is the first time. So let me back up a little bit. You ever seen people retire and then you see they go out and get another job? And I used to be like, why would you retire and then go back to work? Like, that's what retire means. I get it now. I absolutely get it. Because at schools, people would retire and then they would come back and be subs. And I'm like, I'm so baffled by this. But now I understand. So it was like I left because I was like, listen, training. Again, I'm in that place where I can officially say, like, I don't want to train anymore. But what I did love was interacting with people. And I'm like, yo, I love being around people. I have a heart for people. I want people to feel welcome when people come through the door, because stepping into a gym is a very scary situation when you're the new person and you don't know anybody. And stepping through and having somebody greet you with excitement and to be genuine in being happy that you're there, that makes all the difference. And so I'm focusing on my own personal joy for one. Really, I selfishly went back for myself. I was like, I feel like I need to be a part of a community, and I was already a part of an amazing community. And I left in love because I was being obedient, right? And because I left in love, I was received back with love. And it wasn't a, why are you back? Or what you doing? I was like, yeah, I miss being around people. Can I get a shift? That way I, would have a set time when I needed to be there. Cause it's easy to make plans with people. Y'all know how it go. And then come time, you be like, oh girl, something came up. And I'm like, no. So now I have a set time to be there. And the more I'm there and the more I'm interacting, then the more likely I am to be there on days when I'm not working. And y'all, it has been amazing because I am officially back in my own workout routine, which I had let go because y'all, opening a gym, I'm sure opening any business is really hard, but it was hard on all of us. It takes a lot. And so there were a lot of times when I was debating between working out and taking a nap. And so realistically, over the last 4 years, I have not been consistent with my workouts. That's a whole podcast topic for another day. But now I'm officially back in a routine. And so this has been going on for the last 3 weeks at the time of this recording. And I feel amazing. I'm happy because I'm interacting with people. I'm happy because working out makes you feel better and you have endorphins and it just feels good. I'm sleeping better because of the way that I'm moving my body. And now my responsibility level there is different. So I'm able to really be a part of the community. Like I don't have a heavy responsibility of anything that I need to do, coming in. I don't have to prepare to be there. And then when the shift is over, I say, all right, guys, good seeing you. Let's do this again next week. And it has been so good for me, but also it is allowing me to continue to not just sharpen my gift, but to operate in it. I love greeting the people there. I love greeting the people I already know, and interacting with them, and just you just don't ever know what type of mood or somebody is in or what they have going on in their lives. And so to be able to give them, 45 minutes to an hour of just goodness, of like working out, empowerment, having fun, having people love on you is it's something, it's so good. And I'm happy to be a part of that. But also it helps me to stay sharp in my gift, connecting with people. I love it. And that's really good too. So if you take anything from this, one, be mindful about what you attach your value to. And two, you know, go function in your gift. Um, Y'all, I know this could be another podcast, but let me go off the cuff for just something else real quick. I knew that, or I thought, I was like, hey, listen, when people see me back, they're gonna be like, uh-oh, what happened? And honestly, I'm in a place where I was like, I don't care. I am all about whole health right now. And it's not just taking care of myself physically, but it's taking care of myself emotionally. It's taking care of myself mentally. It's taking care of myself spiritually. And going back and being in a community and just being able to interact with people um in person is not just something I'm going and doing for others. It has been good for me. So I just encourage you, again, find what you are attaching your value to, and then be like, listen, if it's a job that's making you miserable, that's not your value. Let's focus on your gift, and then let's go chase after joy. And let's be mindful to put ourselves first in a whole health mindset. So it's not just about working out. It's about doing things that make you happy. It's about setting boundaries and saying no to things that you know are not good for you, or that will put you in a bad headspace, or will cause you to lose sleep on Sunday nights. Whatever that thing is, like cut that thing off. Okay. That's the whole thing I want you to take away from this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because I need to record the next episode, because we're going to talk about the next thing. What do we have going? what is happening. I'm really excited to share. So thank you for tuning in. Again, I need you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that when the next episode comes out, you'll know it's here. You'll be the first one. You see that notification pop up on your screen, and we can talk about this next season. I'm really excited. The shift is officially happening, and I'm ready. So let's go out to the world. Let's go be great. Let's operate in our gift, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye, guys. Listen, I can't have you all missing out on episodes. I appreciate you all being here, and I want you to stay here. So before you leave, go ahead, click that subscribe button so you'll be the first to know when the next episode drops. I'll see y'all then.